Hi guys, welcome to another episode. How was last week for you? How was the whole of last week? How was work? How was life? How was your faith last week? I know it's been a rainy week for most parts of Nigeria where I reside. Most especially Benin City. It's been raining very seriously. Some people say it's been raining every day for 2 weeks. But I know it's been raining every day for the last 1 week. Here. But yeah, how are you? Memories die as soon as they begin. If you are lucky, you can catch the in-between. It's a quote that came to my head someday last year. You know what's interesting? I think I got the quote on July 11th last year. And I'm sitting here in this space recording this episode, and that thought is in my head again. Memories die as soon as they begin. If you are lucky, you can catch the in-between. And by lucky, I don't necessarily mean luck in the way that we mean luck. Everything we are doing, everything we are fighting for, all of life, what we are trying to fight for is the in-between. The in-between. The in-between, the shortest burst of time in between when the memories start and when the memories die, because they die immediately they start, but there's a tiny in between. Is what we are trying to fight for. And the truth is, memories with anyone die at any point. But I think that memories have better chances of living longer if they are with a person who you know. Even if you guys are not speaking or you are not seeing each other, but you just know that they are on some part of the bed. It's as though when people exit the world, they exit with their memories. And I feel like that's something we don't talk about. I remember a few years ago, I used to have a friend. I don't know. We are not friendly, not because we had a fallout, but we are not friendly because I think we stopped speaking. Just think change of numbers or some sort of like that, right? We stopped speaking. Well, I remember she had lost someone. And then, as at the time, I had no idea. I was not learning anything about grieving, right? So she had lost someone and she had come online and she was ranting about how people needed to stop telling her to stop crying and stuff. She wasn't online for a period, but when she came online, she did that, I think. And my reply to her was, what people don't get is that when someone leaves, when someone dies, there are a lot of things to be worried about. One of the things to be worried about, which is even most important, one of the most important being if they were in the faith. But another thing is, what you've not understood yet is that the memories you've made with this person that you think were fresh, they gradually start to fizzle out after a while. So no matter how much love and how much bond you all shared, it starts to die off. And if you know how much time of our life we spend in building memories, you are building memories every single moment you are awake, whether with yourself or if with a person. If it's with this person, you are building memories gradually for as long as you see them, you speak to them, you hear them speak, you cheer them on, you root for them, you dance with them, you have fun, you play games, you all laugh. However long it is, the memories are lasting that long. But it's as though no matter how much we tell ourselves that when the person is gone, that you know what, you want to keep your memories forever. You don't have the power to hold the memories forever. If they are alive and you guys are not speaking, the memories can exist. But after a long while, the memories start going blurry. You start getting blood. It's like a light from a lamp source. The farther you get away from it, the tinier the light looks like, the ray of light looks like. It gets to a point where you can't see it again. No matter how brightly colored that light is, traveling through a straight line, at some point you won't be able to see it again. Right? It's just how it works. So I think that sometimes when people grieve the way they grieve, I think that's one of the reasons why they grieve. And I think that it's just unwise to tell people to stop grieving, because especially you are trying to tell them that all the memories, what they are trying to comprehend is all the memories that I have built with this person are gone. Because this person it's not necessarily that they are not with me. If they are not with me, but they are alive, at some point one day we can see, and just a spark or a conversation or just some fun moment can resurrect that emotion back up, or those memories back up. But if they are gone permanently, that spark is never coming back. So it means it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and then it's going to disappear. Think about it. If you've lost someone, think about how fresh it was for the few days when it had just happened. And if you've lost them a very long time ago, think about how much the details look blurry in your head. If you just thought about it, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's something to be scared of. That wouldn't look like I'm saying, should we not move on from grief? No, we should move on from grief, right? But there's this thing where the world and people try to tell you how to grieve. I remember the last episode on Grieving I did, which interestingly was a year ago. That's on purpose, by the way. I remember the last episode I did on this subject, right? I said at the time, the thing about grieving is there is no manual for it. And what people try to do is when there's no manual for something, people try to make themselves become the manual. If I discover that there's no way, no exact science to how this thing works, I try to preach my method as a science. It happens a lot. You know, there's no way to do this thing, no exact way to do it. You just have to get it done. And I'll tell you what works for me is the best way. I remember listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and someone, I know it's online, and I respect. He said he lost his mom. He said when he lost his mom, he said one of the first things he lost her to stroke, right? He said one of the first things he did was he went, got food and ate. He said he was very hungry, got food and ate. And he said people saw him and wondered why he was doing that. He said part of the reasons, although he was hungry, was that it didn't make sense to him. He just felt he was still dreaming. And everyone was saying things about how he was not serious. Then he said he got to church and he saw that in church they were preaching 5 stages of grief. That's a conversation for another day. And it was like, even that doesn't work for everybody. Someone asked me recently. The person said, "Sir, what do I tell somebody who lost someone? What do I say to them?" And I said, that's the thing. If you don't have anything to say to them, don't say anything. I'm not even going back to where I said, don't tell people that you understand. That's another conversation, please. No matter what, if someone lost their friend, and you've lost a friend too, I'm of the opinion that you never tell them, I know how you are feeling right now, because then nobody does. Your friend could have been someone who was just hi, hello, And this person's friend could have been the person who has saved their life before. So when the two of you lost friends or lost anything, you lost that person, you didn't lose the same thing. Right? Parent, friend, family, whatever it is. So this person asked me, what do I say? And I said, that's the thing. There's no manual for this grieving thing. I said, but there's one thing I know works. And I'm not even going to preach it like a sermon to you. Sit with them. Listen to them, let them talk. The person looked at me. Because to this person, sitting and not talking while grieving is strange. I just remember a post right now from someone. It was about grieving too as well. And the person was speaking on grieving in a certain way. And I remember tweeting on Instagram, and I remember commenting on that the person said, let people show you how they want to grieve so you can grieve with them in that way. That's the paraphrase. Because this thing is about waking up and discovering that the person who you once had this best life with is never coming back. And I don't think we understand how much that is a thing. I don't think we get it. This person is never coming back. The memories are gone. They look like they are fresh for the first few days, but 1 year, 2 years, imagine knowing somebody for 20-something years of your life, and then they die. If you are going to live 100 years, it means for the next 80 years, you are never going to see them. The memories built for over 20-something years are going to get blurry, and eventually at some point vanish. So if the person is if there are days while this thing is happening and the person is looking like they are not themselves, I think you should understand them. Days where the shot of emotion, the thought comes in that, oh, this is possible, right? That you should not just give up, you should be there, you should not cry, you should strong up and some stuff that we just say. All of those statements that make it sound like we are strong when deep down at the end of the day none of us are really strong. Just so that we can say we are cooperating with you. I think that those statements are the deception in themselves. There's a lot of silence on this world, because at some point I'm starting to think that maybe grieving is something that none of us are really good at intentionally. Maybe God created it so that we don't become good at grieving, because if we do, we may just never change. It's Talking Joe. See you on the next one.